What's up game developers, CouchFerret here, and today I'm gonna walk you through my process of how I draw and animate a new character from scratch. I'll be doing all 8 directions for both walking and running animations. During the video, I'll explain a few things in each phase, but sometimes I'll be quiet, so you can enjoy the process and the chill music. If it sounds fun, then stay with me and consider subscribing with the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos of this game. Cool, let's begin. The first thing I'm doing here is a horizontal and vertical scale for my characters. It will help with their sizes. Now I'm picking a color from the middle and blocking out the character's shape. I started without a vertical mirror, but then I turned it on because it helps a lot to create the front view of the character, which will most likely be symmetrical. I'm defining the character's face with a yellow-greenish color and trying to figure out the placement of the eyes. He'll also be a bit slimmer and shorter overall. Later, I'll also have a taller version of him too. I put a few pixels of shading on his face. Shading him with a darker blue really gives him form. He looks strange and alien, but I prefer sketching with a color gradient instead of grayscale. And if you look at it as a game from the 80s, then it isn't strange at all. I'm switching to a white background to have brighter colors for the face. Although I don't like working with a pure white background, it can make my eyes tired fast. To have a few variations, I'm making a taller and slimmer version of the character. By scaling his head a bit smaller on the y-axis, it makes him fit the top-down perspective better. I've picked the second one and I'm doing the side view and a 45-degree view. But first I'm changing his shirt color because he's too bluish overall. A bit of shading gives him form too. Sometimes I zoom out to see him from a distance and get a feeling for how he will end up in the game. Also, the preview window is a huge help in this too. I'm shading his hair similarly in all views, so he won't look strange when turning around. And I'm making a backside view too. I think these 4 views are enough to grasp the idea and I'll be able to choose the best one in the end. I'm copying this concept to try out a different body shape for variety. Because the original archer in the game was wider than this newer concept, I'm making the new one thicker too. Instead of doing the different views, I'm testing out how tall he should be. I think the smallest one looks appealing, so I'm going forward with him and creating a couple of hairstyles before making all the different views for him. Now I'm making the 4 different views for the smaller variation so I can compare it to the taller one in the end. He isn't just smaller, but he has a bigger chin too. In the side view, he looks way too rounded, like a minion from Despicable Me, so I'm making a slimmer version of the side view. I let this project rest for a day. It's always good to rest your eyes for a while. Working too much at one time on one piece can make you blind to its obvious flaws. The next day, his eyes looked misplaced in the front view, so I'm moving them closer to the center. I kind of prefer the taller version, but before coloring him, I'm making a bunch of hairstyles just for fun. I'm planning to have customizable characters in the game, so you can make your own character and play as him or her. I'm not satisfied with all of them, but the mohawk one looks quite fun. It will definitely make it into the game. Now I'm moving into Photoshop to adjust the colors. You can do the same thing in Aseprite or almost any other drawing software, it's just a habit for me to do this phase in Photoshop. I'm mostly playing around with the hue, but sometimes with the saturation and the lightness as well. After I'm satisfied with the colors, I'm copying him back to Aseprite to start working on his animation. As the first step, I'm working on a turntable animation for the character to have a good base for the running and walking animations. After I finished all the views for the turntable, I'm putting them together to have an animation out of them. It will help with finding a few flaws to fix. I think the turntable ended up being pretty cool. It only needs a few fixes with the hair and it's done. That's much better. It's time to animate. I'm starting with the front-facing run animation, and I'll be moving counterclockwise with the animations. The main difference between the running and walking animations is that the character jumps up slightly during each step while running. And also the arms and legs are a bit more relaxed in the walking animation. I'm preparing the timeline for all of the animations and tagging every 6 frames with the given animation's name, so we will be able to play the animations back in an endless loop. Here, I've noticed that I forgot to fix the shading on the character's shirt and his quiver strap, so I'm fixing it quickly before moving to the next few animations. I'm done with most of the animations. For the remaining ones, I can just modify the existing animations to get the opposite side. That's it for today, folks. Next time we will continue the animations by giving him a bow and a quiver. We will be working on the shooting animation as well. I think at the end of the next episode we can wrap it up and export him into Unity. So be sure to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions about what you have just seen, feel free to ask and I try to answer all of them. See you next time!